Are you guys coming to my channel for classic gameplay on Saturdays and stories and nostalgia throughout the week? And that's what I'm going to deliver to you guys in a major way today. I had a G1 from back in the Screw Attack days, Reese, deliver me almost 8 gigs of footage that I thought was totally lost forever. So Reese, thank you so much for sending these my way. We're going to take a look at the first ever video game vaults that aired on screwattack.com long before our relationship with the game trailers, long before we ever met any of our partners. It was just a couple guys talking about their favorite games and least favorite games, which you'll see here. So these are, you'll see, but they reflect being the first ever videos ever on our website related to the video game vault. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. With that said, please subscribe. I have more of these coming down the line because, like I said, there's 8 gigs of footage that I can't wait to share with you guys and transform into a new experience for you guys now. Also, I know you guys like the classic stuff, but if you do want to keep up with news and stuff, I actually just launched a brand new channel called Craig Talks News, where I talk about industry news, gaming, entertainment, things like that, stuff that I care about that I think you guys would care about as well. I just launched it, less than 500 subscribers. I would love for you to head over there and check it out. I do like between 1 and 2, maybe 3 videos a day, just talking about stuff that I care about. So please head over there and check it out. It doesn't quite fit this nostalgia-based channel. So with that said, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and let's watch some classic vaults from like 15 freaking years ago. It's the first ever video game vault produced by Screw Attack. Actually, this was the first that aired. This was not the first video game vault that was made, the first that actually went on the website. The first video game vault that was made was not Batman Returns. I think this was Tom's first, which was the first on the website, but it wasn't the first actually produced. But you'll see how quickly things go. You got to remember about these. All these videos were incredibly short because the internet, number one, bandwidth was incredibly expensive, right? Number two, the internet at the time was not a place where you watched videos. The idea of doing what you're doing right now on the online, watching a video, watching a live stream, listening to music was non-existent. Like, it cost so much to do those things. So we had to keep everything short. Everything short. So let's get into this. This is from March 29th, 2006. This is 6 weeks after the launch of Screw Attack. So we launched on February 15th, 2006. So this is roughly 6 weeks after. Let's check this out.
I love this game. Batman Returns for the SNES, back when Michael Keaton was kicking everybody's butt in Batman. This game featured the grab feature, which is awesome. I love butting their heads together. You've got the evil clowns, of course, throwing fire at you. You can't go wrong. All the stuff in the foreground also makes it really cool.
You notice, like, there's the idea of editing is hilarious. And I know for a fact this was edited probably in iMovie. I'm going to say no for a fact. It was definitely edited in iMovie, which was the free program on our iMac that we had, which was amazing. No background music. There was not. This was a great example of just like a rough draft of what would come in future years. Crazy.
It was kind of just a rip-off of Final Fight, but it was still fun just because it was Batman. Look at that, right against the wall.
So this was kind of interesting because you didn't hear a whole lot of people talk like that. Look at that. Look at that, right against the wall. That was something that you didn't address the footage that you were talking about. And we kind of made a conscious effort to do everything that IGN did, just the complete opposite of it. The complete opposite of it.
Right against the wall. Don't forget all the sweet weapons you had. You had the, whatever that thing is that you can climb across the walls from. Battery.
That was such a Tom way of doing things. It's like, yeah, whatever the hell that was.
And you also had the sweet test tubes, which I had no idea why they broke everything on the screen. But it was awesome anyway. And don't forget Strongman, who's so pissed he rips his newspaper in half. Only Batman can jump across rooftops, kill killer clowns, and then eventually meet up with Catwoman. Hear her roar. I love this game, Batman Returns on Super Nintendo. Batman.
So there you go. That is the first ever video game vault. Yes, probably, I mean, come on. Like, it was definitely a rough draft of what would come much later down the line. Because we had no idea what we were doing. Just the idea was, well, let's just talk about some games that we like. And Batman Returns was one of Tom's favorite games, so why not? So this is the vault from March 30th, the next day on Screw Attack. But this was the first Screw Attack video with an intro on it. You notice this intro does not have the bolt. It does not have the lightning bolt. This logo here was actually made by my brother, Brad. I asked him to create something, and I said, well, can you make something with a bolt? I wanted some sort of like Screw Attack, but not Screw Attack bolt. I remember being in his apartment in Austin, Texas, when he was living down in Austin, and asking him to make this. This is just a clip art headphone. Once again, the headphone was a big player in the early Screw Attack logos because, once again, it was supposed to be a podcast. This is a clip art headphone with just a generic S that would eventually become a Screw Attack bolt. ScrewAttack.com, where gamers go to be heard. Sounds so catchy. That was the idea. That's where gamers go to be heard. You can come and talk. So stupid. So dumb. But yes, the very first video with a Screw Attack intro on it. And this intro I thought was amazing at the time. And all it was just a little bit of a movement towards the camera. I had no idea how to do it, but a guy named Joey, who was actually producer Andy's brother, showed me how to do my first keyframe in editing. That's how much we didn't know about video editing. Keyframing, one of the most basic things you could possibly do in video editing. And he taught me how to do that. So there you go. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. There you go. Let's get on it. This whole vault is 41 seconds long. The entire thing.
This time on the Game Vault, get out your cane and get ready to collect some gems. It's DuckTales for the NES. This classic side-scroller features tons of secrets and tons of fun.
You know what's bizarre about this? Is I literally, like, as I was listening to that, I knew the next line. I haven't heard this in 15 years, right? But I knew the script from this, which is crazy. What a weird callback from the crazy backwards into my brain. Weird.
How fun as you travel the world and beyond looking for treasures.
Wow.
What more do you need? Multiple levels, great music, awesome secrets, and a game based on a cartoon you know you watched right after Gummy Bears came on. The idea is simple. Bounce around, collect your loot, beat the bad guy, move on. So go find Huey, Dewey, and Louie and play it. You know you want to. It's DuckTales for the NES.
Wow, that's really crazy. That's really bizarre. Okay, so there's a lot to dig into there. I know that's only like a 38-second video, but there's a lot to dig in there because it was pointed out, well, I thought James did a vault on DuckTales. I thought the Angry Nintendo Nerd did a vault on DuckTales. He did. And there's a funny backstory behind this because James had produced a couple episodes of the Angry Nintendo Nerd at the time for Screw Attack, and I remember him reaching out and be like, "Hey, would you be upset if I did a vault for another game?" I was like, "No, that sounds awesome. Do it." So he did DuckTales, and I had already done this vault before, but he wanted to do it. I was like, "Cool, whatever, that's fine. We'll have a second vault on DuckTales, just another perspective. That's fine." But the kicker to this was, at the time, we did a vault on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I remember him asking me specifically. He goes, "Hey, I want to do a review on Ninja Turtles for the NES, but you already did a vault, and I don't want it to interfere with what's going on." I said, "So what? Do an episode on TMNT." Turns out it's like one of his most iconic episodes ever, one of the early ones, and it really kind of catapulted him into stardom. So it's crazy to think about, man. It's crazy to think about just those little like phone calls that you'd have that, more or less changed a lot, a lot in the, his career, our career, our journey together. It's really insane to think about. It's almost like going through and looking at yourself like 15 years ago. If you could interact with yourself like 15 years ago and channeling these memories. Like, I know that you guys probably don't understand this, right? But seeing these videos for me, it's not so much nostalgic. It's just, it's I don't know. It's just simpler times, easier time. I put myself in my shoes where I was at this time in 2006, single, living in an apartment, trying to figure out what the hell I was doing. I mean, you know, no mortgage, no dogs, and how much different my life is now. How much things have changed in 15 years. Married for 13 years, 2 wonderful kids. Fortunately, my parents are still alive. Everyone's still alive. You know, like it's insane to think about. And now I think about like where I'm going to be in 15 years. And I'll be looking back in 15 years, maybe on a stream like this and being like, I was so young, you know, it's crazy. It's bizarre, man. It's crazy. So I remember this vault in particular. This is Ultraman. And nowadays I would be absolutely lambasted for this because Ultraman was this crazy Japanese show from way back in the 60s or 70s. I don't know. And they wanted to make a Super Nintendo game out of this. I remember renting this game from the video store and playing it. And it was like a fighting game at the height of like the Street Fighter 2 craze and playing it. And when we did vaults, we wanted to have good games, but we also wanted to have weird games and bad games. And I think this was kind of the first go at bad games in the vault. So let's take a look at this. This is Ultraman from April 10th, 2006.
Back when Street Fighter 2 was dominating the arcades.
Okay, holy crap. Okay, I think this is the only vault that has this. This was kind of like this music video style thing that I was like, oh, it should be like a music video. And it could have some really brief information on it. Who makes the video? Title of the series, the game, and the platform. How freaking crazy is that, man? It's so crazy. All right, I'm going to bring the video up a little bit for you guys. Sorry. Make sure you guys are videos up for you guys. How silly. How silly.
Back when Street Fighter 2 was dominating the arcades, everybody wanted a piece of the action, and so Japan graciously gave us Ultraman. Obviously, you're Ultraman, and you fight against all sorts of big monsters like these guys. Did you notice their weight? 120,000 tons? That's like 240 million pounds. What the crap is that? This game is just like Street...
This is such a crazy cluster. If somebody sent this to me today and they're like, look, I made this video about this game, I would burn it. I would find a way to burn my monitor with just how horrible this is. It's so unbelievably bad.
40 million pounds. What the crap is that? This game is just like Street Fighter 2, just without all the cool characters, cool special moves, and, well, good control. But you do get all sorts of great special effects like these.
An attempt at sarcasm.
Speaking of those controls, they're so slow. Moves will come at you, and you knew they were coming, but you couldn't do anything about it. If you want to relive the glory days of the 2D Street Fighter, pick up...
You see this? Look at this. This is so stupid. I remember thinking this. Once again, seeing this for the first time in forever, now it's funny to look at this because I remember thinking this footage was hilarious. I put down a shield, and right as the shield goes down, he throws a fireball that goes right over the shield. It's amazing.
The glory days of the 2D Street Fighter, pick up any other fighting game. Hell, even Clay Fighter. Just don't pick up Ultraman. This game, Ultra, sucked.
Our writing was so good. It was so good at the time. I remember my thought was I used a legal pad to write. That's kind of how I usually wrote pretty much everything. I'm a very big pen and paper type of guy. And I remember thinking that if I wrote 8 lines was about 30 to 45 seconds, depending on the delivery. And I learned that over time. But yeah, Ultraman was not a fun thing. Hal says, revolutionary writing. Right. All right, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe before you head out of here. Also, go watch more videos right over here, and you can click my face to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, make sure you guys, if you like the day-to-day news cycle of things with entertainment and gaming news, you can find me over on Craig Talks News, which you can find right over here. So go subscribe to that channel as well, and let's grow that little puppy. Thanks, guys. See you guys next time.